If you are watching this video today, it means you are exploring global medical career pathways and Australia is already in your radar. Without a clear sequence, the pathway starts to feel confusing. If that sounds familiar, then this video is for you. Welcome back to the channel where we simplify global medical pathways and help IMGs understand how to build their career step by step. Today, we are going to break down the complete Australia medical pathway from AMC Part 1 all the way to becoming a consultant level doctor in the Australia healthcare system. So before we begin, here's exactly what we'll cover today. What the Australia pathway really looks like, EPIC verification and AMC portfolio setup, AMC Part 1 cost and realistic timelines, APRA registration and how IMGs actually secure jobs, life as an RMO, supervised practice and required rotations, WBA versus AMC Clinical, how to choose the right route, general registration and what changes after that, specialist training pathways, GP, physician, surgery, cost of specialty training in Australia, CPD requirements and long-term registration maintenance. Now that you know what the video is going to be about, let's start from the scratch. Before you even think about the AMC exam, Australia checks one thing first. Is your MBBS degree verified? So everything starts with EPIC verification. You create an EPIC account, upload your degree, transcript and passport, and your medical university is contacted directly for verification. This step usually takes few weeks, and once EPIC verification is complete, you can set up your AMC portfolio account where you will keep all your documents stored. Only after that, you can register for AMC Part 1. AMC Part 1 is a computer adaptive MCQ exam with 150 questions, and you will be given 3.5 hours to complete the exam. You need to get 250 out of 500 to pass. The pass rate is usually around 45 to 50%. But Australia Medical Council has recently announced that passing mark standards for AMC Part 1 is going to change slightly. You can check out the official AMC portal for more details. Check the link in description. Most candidates spend 3 to 6 months preparing. Once you clear AMC Part 1, you can apply for APRA Limited registration. And you can also do your English test after clearing AMC Part 1. Here's how much you will be spending in first stage of your AMC journey. After you clear AMC Part 1, what's the next process in the Australia medical journey? Let's have a look at it. Once you clear AMC Part 1 and get limited registration, it opens doors to Australian healthcare system. You have two options. One is to do AMC Clinical, which is the second part of the Australia medical licensing exam, or you can try for workspace based assessment, which is also called as WBA. AMC Clinical is an OSCE-style exam, 14 assessed stations run by AMC. Out of 14, you need to clear 9 stations to pass. Pass rates for AMC clinicals are around 35% and it's highly competitive exam. WBA is very different. It happens while you're working inside an AMC accredited hospital over 6 to 12 months with multiple assessments by supervisors. WBA is not provided by all the Australia hospitals. It's available only at accredited Australian hospitals. WBA has higher pass rate of 99%, but it's highly competitive to land a WBA position due to limited number of positions available. You can apply for job roles such as RMO, HMO, JMO or supervised GP, and to work as a GP in Australia, you need to clear the pre-employment structured clinical interview, also known as PESCI exam. It is an online interview which is conducted for about an hour by the accredited hospitals. Most IMGs will be working in regional or rural hospitals in Australia at this stage. Here are some of our doctors who have recently landed these job roles in Australia. Once you complete either AMC Clinical or WBA and finish your supervised practice, you become eligible for APRA professional registration. Then you need to complete your 12 months of supervised practice in Australia to get APRA general registration. And here's how much you will be spending at this stage in Australia. Most IMGs get stuck thinking which hospitals are actually AMC accredited WBA providers, which official job portals genuinely work, when each state hires, and how requirement timeline differ across Australia. On top of that, many doctors struggle with interview preparation and repeat avoidable mistakes that cost them offers. That's why we created a dedicated Australia pathway blueprint. It brings together verified WBA provider list, state-wise job portals, hiring windows, interview preparation guidance and common mistakes to avoid. So you can plan your pathway with clarity instead of trial and error.
Till now you have understood how to get RMO, JMO and GP roles in Australia, but how do you actually progress towards specialist training in Australia? Let's understand that next.
In Australia, becoming a consultant isn't something you declare. It's something you earn through structured training, exams and years of supervised responsibility. Once an IMG reaches general registration, there are several long-term specialist pathways usually come into the picture. Let's walk through them the way doctors actually experience them. One is the GP pathway, which is provided by Royal Australia College of General Practitioners. This is the most common and realistic specialist route for many IMGs. Training usually takes 3 to 4 years of full-time equivalent depending on how and where you train. You enter a training program, work in supervised GP settings and clear a series of fellowship exams, each testing a different skill. You start with the AKT, which is the Applied Knowledge Test, which checks how well you understand core GP medicine, and then comes the KFP, which is the Key Featured Problem Exam, which focuses on real world clinical decision making. Only after clearing both, you can attempt the final clinical competency exam, where patient management, communication and safety are assessed together. Alongside exams, you complete mandatory training modules, CPD activities and certifications like BLS, ALS, trauma care and Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander health. Once everything is completed, you are awarded FRACGP. That's when you are recognized as a specialist GP with independent practice rights and Medicare access. Next is the physician pathway provided by RACP, which is Royal Australia College of Physicians. This pathway is longer and more layered, and exams play a major role. The journey is split into two phases. First is basic physician training, which runs about 3 years in accredited hospital post. During this phase, you rotate through core medical specialties and sit the RACP written and clinical examinations. You must clear basic training including exams and workspace based assessments before moving forward. Only then you enter advanced training, which lasts another 3 to 4 years, depending on the specialty you choose, like cardiology, respiratory medicine, endocrinology or more. Advanced training involves specialty specific assessments, supervisor reports, portfolio reviews and in some specialties, additional written or clinical exams. Once advanced training is successfully completed, you are awarded FRACP, which leads to specialist physician registration. It's a long road which usually is 6 to 7 years, but it's very clearly structured. The other one is surgery pathway provided by RACS, which is the Royal Australia College of Surgeons. This is the most competitive and demanding pathway. Getting into surgical training itself is a competitive, and once you are in, exams are a constant part of the journey. Before or during the entry, most candidates must clear the generic surgical science exam. Training then continues through the SET program, which includes mandatory surgical skills courses, trauma and critical care certifications, research and audit requirements, workplace-based assessments. Depending on the specialty, there are specialty-specific exams and finally the fellowship examination. Only after completing the entire program and clearing all assessments, you are awarded FRACS. Training duration can range from 4 to 7 years, sometimes longer if training is part-time or interrupted. So yes, surgery is possible for IMGs, but it requires early planning, strong CV building, consistency and long-term visa stability. Once you complete all the specialty specific exams and fellowship exams, you will earn fellowship title and then you can practice as a consultant in Australia. To stand out in your specialty training application, you need to have a strong portfolio. Let's understand the portfolio points you need to work as a specialist in surgery and medicine. You can check the portfolio details on the screen. Now, apart from portfolio points, your selection to specialty training program also depends on your experience, interview score of any other specialty specific exam you need to take up while applying. Obtaining a specialty training position is highly competitive in Australia. Let's have a look at competition ratio for specialty positions. These are some of the highly competitive specialties, but with the right kind of experience and portfolio, you can definitely stand out amongst the applicants. Other than this, there are additional costs which comes into play depending on the specialty you choose, which you can see on the screen as well. Till now, you have got an idea about how you can progress towards specialty training in Australia and what is the cost involved. Now, here's the part many doctors don't realize is that clearing specialist training doesn't mean the system stops testing you. Even after becoming a specialist, one responsibility never goes away. You must continue meeting CPD requirements to maintain your registration, and that is what we'll look at next. In Australia, doctors are required to complete 50 hours of CPD each year. Those 50 hours are split across different types of activities, including 25 hours focused on reviewing, performance and measuring outcomes, 12.5 hours of educational learning, 12.5 hours of free choice activities, and specialists may have additional high-level requirements depending on their specialty. For example, the board publishes specialty-linked requirements like CPR frequency for specialists, GPs, and specific audit participation expectations for surgeons. And AMC provides list of CPD homes from where you can complete your CPD activities. We have provided a list of CPD requirements for each specialty, which you can check on the screen. So, Australia has a very structured pathway on how you progress in their healthcare system. 1. Australia follows a strict sequence, not shortcuts. Epic verification, AMC Part 1, AMC Clinical or WBA, supervised practice, general registration. AMC Part 1 is only an entry point, not to the finish line. Clearing AMC MCQ opens to job opportunities with supervision. Consultant level practice comes into much later through training and fellowships. 3. WBA versus AMC Clinical is a strategy decision. AMC Clinical is an exam with lower pass rates, but you can cope up by taking dedicated coaching. WBA happens while working, has a higher success rates, but highly competitive. 4. Specialist training is structured and competitive. GP, physician, and surgical pathways each involve years of training, college exams, interviews, and portfolio scoring. Planning early matters. 5. Registration never becomes permanent. Even as a specialist, you must meet annual CPD requirements to maintain APRA registration and stay in active practice. And if you are at very beginning right now, planning to start with AMC Part 1, we are starting our AMC MCQ batch. So if you want our team to guide you step by step from AMC planning to job strategy to WBA versus clinical decisions, just comment AMC below, and before you go, hit like, subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell icon so you don't miss our upcoming videos on Australia, UK, USA, UAE and other global medical pathways. Thanks for watching and all the best for your Australian journey.